not only the Commission, but also this High Representative. And in 1999 also, we launched a common defense policy, this common security and defense policy, which was really quite new, because after World War II it failed when we decided to launch a community of defense, but then we launched a new policy, and we started civilian and military operations abroad. It was really a big innovation. And then the last evolution was the Lisbon Treaty, where you reinforced the role of the High Representative, and you created the post of a President of the European Council. So the new institutional framework created by the Lisbon Treaty, first, there is the President of the European Council. Before Lisbon Treaty, the presidency of the European Council was changing every 6 months. Every 6 months, one member state is taking over the presidency. Now you have a permanent president, Mr. Van Rompuy. He has been appointed for 2.5 years. Probably will make another period of 2.5 years, so 5 years. And he is representing the EU for CFSP matters at his level, at the level of heads of state and government, which is of course a very important level, because he is the speaker to Mr. Yanukovych, to Mr. Medvedev, or Mr. Putin, etc., or Mr. Obama. So this is very important to have this person in charge of coordinating the policy at the level of heads of state and government. Below his level, there is a High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. Now it is a lady, Mrs. Catherine Ashton, and she has much more responsibilities than her predecessor, Javier Solana, because not only she is High Representative for CFSP matters, but she's also members of the Commission, so in charge of all external relations in the Commission. She is also chairing the Council of Foreign Ministers. Before you had the rotating presidency, now she is chairing the Foreign Minister Council every month. And she is managing the European External Action Service, which is a total new institution, administration, made up from civil servants coming from the European Commission, competent for external relations. So all the DG RELEX, a bit more than DG RELEX, but essentially the DG RELEX was transferred to the EAS. The civil servants of the General Secretariat of the Council, also competent for external relations, especially for CSDP matters, Common Security and Defense Policy. And the EAS is also made of 1/3 of national diplomats. Diplomats coming from the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, and they are there to take over responsibilities for a period of 4 years, 8 years. It can be, I think, maximal 10 years. So this EAS is a new institution which is in the process to being created in Brussels. At the time being, they have not yet any building. People are still working, some in the location of the Commission, others in the location of the General Secretariat of the Council, but I think before the end of the year we will have a new building for this, for offices for this EAS. So this is the organization, institutional organization of the EU foreign policy. Now the question is to know to do what? What is the objective of this foreign policy? What can the EU have as political goals? And the first time the EU has really developed a common vision was 2003. It was after the Iraqi war, You know that in the Iraqi war, the EU was totally divided. Some member states, the majority, supported the American war in Iraq. A few refused that and opposed to this war, especially France and Germany. And we needed after that to reconcile, you know, these visions. Because at each time when EU is divided, the next step is to unite again. So we decided to develop a common security strategy, which was a kind of reply to the American national security strategy of 2002, of the Bush administration. And they made in Brussels a very good job in defining this strategy, and they started the job by defining the common threats. What are the threats to the security of the EU? And then they define the threats in the same way as the United States. Terrorism, it was after the big attentat en comment?
9/11.
After terrorist attacks of 9/11, 2001, proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, very important, Iraq, North Korea, Iran, etc. Regional conflicts, for example in the Balkans, but it can be also elsewhere, the Caucasus, for example, organized crime, and the problem of failed states. Sometimes the United States use the concept of, of rogue states, but it's not the same. Failed states, these are states where there is no control, no administration, you have internal conflicts, you have organized crime, so it's a threat also to the EU security. After having developed the threats, the EU has developed its own responses, and it's becoming more interesting because the EU has elaborated some responses which are not the same as the US responses to the threats. US has proposed unilateralism. They don't want to be constrained by United Nations framework or by coalitions like Mr. I don't remember if it was Mr. Rumsfeld or Mr. Wolfowitz who says not the coalition makes the mission makes the coalition. So the United States decides and the allies come if they want or if they don't want, but the United States decides. So answer to that is that the EU wants to bet on efficient multilateralism. The EU is a multilateralist project, and the basis of its interests and values is multilateralism. Secondly, the EU has said we must concentrate on our neighborhood. This is a geopolitical vision. Europe cannot be responsible for security in all the world. We have to have priorities, and of course our priority is our neighborhood. In the east, in the Balkans, in the south. It was exactly in 2003 that the neighborhood policy was launched to the east and to the south. And third, we decided to say we must have management of crisis, including through CSDP instruments, through military means, military operations, but not only military. When France and Great Britain proposed to develop the military tools of the EU, other member states, Germany, northern countries, came and said, we want also to have civilian means. And this combination of civilian and military means is a specificity of the EU, whereas the United States tend to say we want to use military because we have a strong military